And the Venerable Elizabeth, thank you so much for taking such an initiative to, first of all, to be involved in establishing many of the centers like Nalanda, Vajrayogini, now Kalachakra, and so forth. And this great service to the Dharma and sentient beings. I really appreciate that. It's my profound admiration in your efforts. And then the welcome you all. And yeah, so as we did yesterday, we will do a little bit of preliminary prayers through setting a proper motivation. And the proper motivation involves refuge field, visualizing refuge field, visualizing bodhichitta field, and remembering the purpose of the practice, purpose of this class here. And as for the refuge field, visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and particularly today, Thabaptujan, the Buddha's descent, the sacred day of the Buddha's descent to the planet Earth from the 33 heavens after having been there for 3 months, giving teachings to his the reincarnation of his mother and all the gods and goddesses there. And then today, in the land here in India, Sangasya, where the Buddha then descended, and yeah, then the descended to come to healthy sentient beings. So with this in mind, given that this is a very auspicious day, whatever we do, the virtues really multiply. And I'm sure many of you attended just like half an hour ago teaching by His Holiness the Dalai Lama related to the taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow, and also question answers. So there, I'm sure you took part in that. And somebody asked His Holiness as to how can we make sure that in our next lives we'll be able to take birth in the place where your Holiness is going to be. And then His Holiness said it very clearly that what we should do is finally keeping aside the rituals, keeping aside the other things, practice bodhicitta, the practice wisdom of emptiness, which we are doing now, dependent origination. Practice that and generate a very strong aspiration that that I be born in a place where His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the great teachers, wherever they are, with their aspiration, guarantees that you will be born there. This is what is so said. So what we're doing, this is really, really, really the greatest meaning of our life. And yeah, so with this in mind, just let us all rejoice in what we are doing today. And as I said earlier, I really appreciate Venerable Elizabeth's effort to bring us all together. And then it so coincided with this today, Thabaptujan, and then the text, which is so precious, Reciting Sutra. So with this in mind, visualizing all the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the great enlightened beings, all my teachers, the lineage teachers, and the Lama Yeshe Rinpoche, Lama Soba Rinpoche, and all these teachers, and all your teachers, all your personal teachers, just visualize all of them there, and visualize them as so loving, caring, affectionate, and embracing to you. And the bodhicitta field, you visualize your true parents, you visualize all your family members, including children, and all dear mother sentient beings with you, leaving none aside. And the purpose of this class is to activate this incredibly precious Buddha nature within us. Activate that and be equipped with finally attain the state of fearlessness and the state of infinite happiness. And with these two confidence, then you embrace all the sentient beings to liberate them from all fears and make them be endowed with the infinite happiness. So that potential is within each one of us, irrespective of what your gender, what your ethnicity, what your the caste, creed, and so forth. Everybody has this potential known as the Buddha nature. So the whole purpose is to awaken this Buddha nature by removing the mental defilements, and we really need to explore the how can we get into the mental defilements only by resorting to the very powerful remedies. So with this mind, let's turn to page 3. If you have the hard copy, well and good, page 3. If not, we have the screen sharing here. Let us wholeheartedly recite this. Let the words flow and let the meanings flow. So that's very important. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sangye choda tsoge chonam la chanju pardo tane kyapso che dage jinso kebe chonam ki dola benjere sangye drubare sho sangye choda tsoge chonam la chanju pardo tane kyapso che dage jinso kebe chonam ki dola benjere sangye drubare sho sangye choda tsoge chonam la chanju pardo tane kyapso che dage jinso kebe chonam ki dola benjere sangye drubare sho. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas, and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all leads hearers seeking pacification and complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes souls having migrated to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subdue us, expand the varieties of teachings. The one who is transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, protector, to you make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, let's recite this 3 times. First we'll read the meaning of the mantra first, and then we will recite the mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha Vambati Mahashramanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessational causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-line, non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I've discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom, to you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times of your obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhichitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, hearts of the mantra. Okay, let us recite this 5 times. And as we recite this mantra, so the meaning is very, on the one hand, the meaning is simple. Of course, if you go deeper, it requires a lot of the studies, extensive reflections. Then you will gain conviction in the meaning of this mantra. So what it says here is Tyatha. Tyatha is here is thus. Here is thus. You as somebody who aspires to achieve the state of fearlessness, which is nirvana, state of infinite happiness, fearlessness conjoined with infinite happiness, which is Buddhahood. To achieve that, this is how we have to follow, by cleansing the mind, by undertaking an internal journey of cleansing the mind. And how to cleanse the mind? Cleanse the mind through the wisdom of emptiness, driven by the force of bodhichitta, supported by renunciation, and supported by the great compassion, and on the ground of renunciation. So, and with this, how you proceed through is in the 5 steps: Gade, Paragate, Parasamgade, Bodhiswaha. 5 steps indicating the 5 paths: part of accumulation, part of preparation, part of seeing, part of meditation, and part of normal learning. So this and then what all these paths are, and how one moves from one to the second. These are all we have to study more. In other words, it's a process of cleansing your mind of the mental defilements. With that in mind, let's recite this 5 times. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha Tyatha 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 Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. I go for refuge in the triple gems. Okay, what we do is that on this auspicious day of the Love of Teaching, page 50, page 50. Oh. Okay, what we do is that on this auspicious day, His Holiness this morning, they gave the opportunity for everybody to take part in this, generating this bodhichitta. Finally, the seat of infinite goodness, infinite joy, happiness for yourself, and the seed of infinite happiness to be provided to the other beings is generating this incredibly precious bodhichitta, the altruistic mind, to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So we could recite these 3 verses wholeheartedly, and then for information. The thing is that in this life we're connected with the dharma of the Nalanda tradition, met with His Holiness the Dalai's teachings. We're very fortunate. And then they, for example, say this Salistamba Sutra, the Reciting Sutra, we're very fortunate. So meanwhile, what about our next lives? In case if we achieve the, Buddhahood within this lifetime, well and good, but what about in case if not? Most likely, of course, this is a noble journey, being extremely noble, meaningful. It'll take time. Nobler the goal, more the time it takes. So therefore, for sure it'll take time until somebody really puts effort, like the way just Milarepa. But otherwise, people like us will take many lifetimes to achieve Buddhahood. But then, to make sure that in the next lives, the 2 things to keep in mind. One is that we should come in contact with Dharma, number 1. Come in contact. So they're brilliantly intelligent people, but they have not come across the Dharma. And what to do? Number 1. Once you connect with the Dharma, but it doesn't mean that you will wholeheartedly engage in it. It's not guaranteed once you connect with the Dharma. So first to see how we can connect to Dharma. Once connected, how to make sure that we don't waste our time. Instead, take the maximum benefit out of this, they come in contact with the Dharma. For that matter, how to make it consistent. Number 1, consistent and rigorous. Number 1 is how to come in contact with Dharma. Then number 2 is how to rigorously engage in it, not missing the opportunity. So to connect with Dharma, we should include very powerful prayers, number 1. Now to rigorously engage in it, we have to practice the Dharma within this life as much as we can. So what are we doing here? Taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. As I said earlier, to take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, it is not necessary that you have any form of commitments. No commitments as such. If at all you want to really have some commitments, the maximum commitment that you could think of is that from today onwards, I will try my best to render service, benefit, help to others. And if not, at least I will not harm others. If you can make the commitment, you are eligible to take this absolute Bodhisattva vow. So with this mind, once again, reinforce visualizing all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of you, and also visualize your 2 parents, all the family members, children, and all sentient beings living on the side around you, and you are leading this, and all sentient beings are joining you. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhichitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Okay, continuation from where we left last time. I'm sure you have all the 12 links on the fingertips. I'm sure you have that. Yeah, I'm looking at your face to see if you have. Okay. Yes, most of you have it. Okay, good. Okay, so last time where we left was the text. Okay. Very quickly, we will read the text once more, and where only when necessary I'll explain it. Otherwise, the those which we already did yesterday, I may not go over again. Only when necessary. Otherwise, just for particularly those people who who joined today, that you will Dimare Sutra. Particularly the people who joined today, for them to make it complete. To make it complete as an auspicious indication. To make it complete, we will just quickly read from the beginning very quickly, and then where we left yesterday, we will go into detailed explanation. Okay. Okay. The Noble Mahayana Sutra, Raya Seedling. So what happened was that the background is that the Buddha Shakyamuni, at one point, the Buddha Shakyamuni was passing by rice, the field, and the Buddha pointed his finger to the rice seedlings, meaning the rice shoots. That monks, look at this. Whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma, and whosoever sees the dharma will see the Buddha. This is one thing the Buddha said. Then number two is that because this exists, that exists. Because this is produced, that is produced. Number two. Then number three, because of ignorance, contaminant karmas arise. Because of contaminant karmas, consciousness arises. Because of consciousness, name and form arises. And then the 12 links whole, and then number 10 becoming, number 11 the birth, and number 12 aging and death. So, and then the lamentation, bewilderment, and the heap of miseries ensue. And then the next part, because the ignorance ceases, the karma ceases, because of which the consciousness ceases, because of which the name and form cease, and then it keeps on like that, and then the whole heap of miseries cease or stops. This is what the Buddha taught. Then, so here as we are reading this, what we see is that so after this teaching, then around the evening, the Buddha Shakyamuni ascended to the Vulture's Peak, Chagulpumburi in Tibetan, Vulture's Peak in Chagulpumburi in Bihar, in India. And then what happened was that the Buddha presided over the gathering, and then it was more like a very casual sitting around the Buddha. Then Shariputra, the Arhat Shariputra, he had words on the Arimatriya, and then the exchanging the courtesies. Then I started to enter into conversation. And Shariputra then very respectfully asked questions to Arimatriya. So these are the important points. What are the questions asked by Shariputra? So the Shariputra reminded the Arimatriya that Venerable Sir, and to remember that the earlier, as the Buddha passed by the rice seedling, the Buddha said, whosoever sees dependent origination sees the dharma, whosoever sees the dharma will see
Buddha. So what is dependent origination? What is the Dhamma? What is the Buddha? So this was the question asked. It's a very contemporary question. The question which today, is like we are talking. This is so beautiful. Okay, so I'll quickly read this. The Noble Mind Sutra writes Seedling, homage to all Buddhists and Bodhisattvas. Thus have I heard at one time, the Bhagavan, the Buddha, was reciting on Vulture Peak mountain, which is Chagulpumuri in Tibet, in Rajgir, with a large sangha of 1,250 bhikshus, meaning monks, and full ordained monks, and with a great many bodhisattva mahasattvas. Okay, bodhisattva mahasattva. Oftentimes you will come across these two words coming together, bodhisattva and mahasattva. Bodhi is the awakening, and sattva is the courageous one. The courageous one, the person who is courageous one to achieve, to attain Buddhahood, to aspire Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Maha is the great, sattva. Maha means great. Sattva is again the courageous one, greatly courageous. The courageous one seeking bodhi or full awakening, and the greatly courageous one. Why these two are coming together? Why not only one? So this is important. This is what come across quite often in referring to the very advanced bodhisattvas like Shariputta, Avalokiteshvara, Maitreya, and so forth. So here again we see that the bodhisattva, mahasattva, Maitreya. So these are like the epithets for the great bodhisattvas. So bodhisattva means somebody who aspires to achieve enlightenment. And enlightenment, there are two kinds: personal enlightenment and enlightenment for all beings. So personal enlightenment is what we call as nirvana. Nirvana, just for one to be liberated, and then the nirvana for enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. That is Buddhahood. So the first one, bodhisattva, means somebody who is courageous to aspire the bodhi or enlightenment, and to distinguish this bodhisattva from the Shravakas and Pratik Buddhas, those who seek personal liberation. So they're also courageous to aspire their own the enlightenment. So to distinguish these bodhisattvas from them, then the second word is said, that is Mahasattva. So this commentary is according to, this explanation is according to Acharya Kamalshil. Acharya Kamalshil, who said that Mahasattva, Maha means great. Great is not just for personal, but for the great scope, the aspiration for the great in the context of the greatness of the beings on the basis of for whom this enlightenment is sought. Beings meaning infinite number of beings, infinite beings. So this is so great, and aspiration is so great, and the purpose is so great, and the enlightenment is so great. The Buddhahood is much, much greater than the personal liberation. And then the infinite beings is much, much greater as compared to one personal person. Then aspiration, the bodhichitta, is far, far greater in terms of aspirations as compared to a personal liberation, renunciation. So it's so great, Mahasattva, to make sure that they are distinguished from the Shravakas and Pratik Buddhas, Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Maitreya. And after they had exchanged courtesies upon meeting each other, they both sat down on a flat rock. Maitreya and Shariputra, two of them sat them on a flat rock. Venerable Shariputra then said to the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Maitreya, here today, the Bhagavan, the Buddha, gazing at a rice seedling, spoke this aphorism. Aphorism meaning, say, like a maxim, like a statement. Aphorism to the bhikshus. Bhikshus, whoever sees dependent arising, or the dependent origination, dependent arising and origination is just a matter of English translation, sees the dharma. Whoever sees the dharma sees the Buddha. Having said this, the Bhagavan fell silent. Maitreya, what's the meaning of this aphorism spoken by the Sugata? Sugata meaning the Buddha, the one who has gone to the ultimate bliss, the bliss of freedom from attachment, bliss of freedom from all the afflictions. And the stains. What is dependent arising? What is the dharma? What is the Buddha? How does one see the dharma by seeing dependent? Look, the questions, how nuanced Shariputra was asking the questions. One, he was asking individually. dependent arising, dharma and the Buddha. Then the second question is how they are linked to each other. How, by seeing dependent origination, one sees the dharma. So linking the realization of dependent arising and realization of the dharma. And how does one see the Buddha by seeing the dharma, connecting the dharma with the Buddha? Okay, next. The Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Maitreya, then replied to the Venerable Sharitvatiputra. Sharitvatiputra is the Shariputra. Venerable Shariputra, you want to know what dependent arising is in the statement made by the Bhagavan, the Lord of Dharma, the Omniscient One. Lord of Dharma meaning the Buddha, the Omniscient One meaning the Buddha who knows all phenomena, the Omniscient One with omniscience. Bhikshus, whosoever sees dependent arising sees the Dharma, whosoever sees the Dharma sees the Buddha. Well, the phrase dependent arising means that because this exists, okay, because this exists, that exists, because this is produced, that is produced. That is to say, then go into detail. Ignorance causes formation. Formation meaning, formation is the contaminant karmas, referring to contaminant karmas. Ignorance causes formations. Formations cause consciousness. Consciousness causes name and form. Okay, the 12 links which we studied yesterday. Name and form cause the 6 sense sources. The 6 sense sources cause contact. Contact sources causes feeling. Feeling causes craving. Craving causes appropriation. Appropriation or grasping, same, is a matter of translation. Appropriation or grasping. Appropriation causes becoming, number 10. Becoming causes birth, number 11. And the birth causes aging and death, number 12. And then the sorrow, lamentation, suffering, despair, and bewilderment. Thus does this entire great heap of suffering arise. So this is how we experience this suffering. What we are going through now is displayed in this and this teaching of dependent origination. How because that exists, because this exists, that exists, because this is produced, that is produced, and because of ignorance and the formation is caused, because of formation, consciousness caused, and so forth. This is how we come into existence. We come into the samsaric existence. Then, if you're wise, we can also undo this suffering. How to undo this suffering? When ignorance ceases, formation ceases. When the formation ceases, consciousness ceases. When consciousness ceases, name and form ceases. When name and form ceases, the 6 sense sources ceases. When 6 sense sources cease, contact ceases. When contact ceases, feeling ceases. When feeling ceases, craving ceases. When craving ceases, appropriation, number 9, ceases. When appropriation ceases, becoming, number 10, ceases. When becoming ceases, birth ceases, 11. When birth ceases, then aging and death. If you don't take birth in samsara, then you don't have to die. Aging and death stops. And the death, sorrow, lamentation, suffering, despair, and bewilderment cease. And the bewilderment, this is one of the characteristics of samsara, where when we really go through complications, agitations, tragedies, one after the other, then your mind gets confused. Your mind gets confused, and so the ability to see things in the nuanced form, in the subtleties, in the complexities, all simply disappear. So you just get confused, bewilderment or confusion cease. Thus did this entire great heap of suffering cease. This is what the Bhagavan has called the dependent arising. This is the meaning of dependent arising. How we come into being into samsara. That is, and how we can undo the samsara, how we can free ourselves from the samsaric sickness, aging, death, tension, despair, and particularly the pain of losing near and dear ones, the pain of you dying, the pain of you becoming, of suffering, liquidation, the pain of you contacting COVID-19, and so forth. So all these pains can be undone. Okay, then the next one is, who is the Bhagavan Buddha? Right? Okay, sorry. What is the Dharma? So having taught what dependent, still what is being explained thus far is very a summary form, like the synopsis, and the detail is yet to come. What is the Dharma? So whosoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma. What is that Dharma? Dharma is the practices that we do, and along with the results. In simple terms, the practice that we do and along with the results. What kind of practice? What kind of results that we achieve? It says the Dharma is the eightfold path of the noble ones. What are the eightfold path? What is practice? Right view to see to see the reality, to see emptiness, to see dependent origination. Right thought, say these views that you have meditated upon, that you reflected, that then the thoughts to express these, and then the thoughts, then the right speech. From these thoughts, then your speech comes out to share your knowledge with others, and then right action to make sure that what you're doing accords with the dharma. Then right livelihood, how you lead your life. It should not be a corrupted, scandalous life, but it should be a very appropriate the livelihood. Then right effort, the study, reflection, and meditation, and then the right mindfulness to build the steadiness of the mind, right mindfulness. With this mindfulness, then the concentration is built, the right concentration. These eightfold path of the noble ones meaning the Arya beings, noble ones, combined with the attainment of its results. Now, these efforts in the eightfold noble path, along with the results in the form of, say, what we read earlier, gate, para samgate, bodhisattva, you achieve the various results. These results, and then finally, the bodhiswaha in the form of nirvana. Nirvana is the what Bhagavan has called the dharma. This is the dharma. Then whosoever sees dharma will see the Buddha. What does it mean by Buddha? Who is the Bhagavan Buddha? A Buddha, so called because of comprehending all dharmas, meaning that there is somebody who sees all phenomena, who knows all phenomena, is endowed with the wisdom eye of the noble ones. Wisdom of the noble ones, meaning that the Arya beings, say, we talked about gate, para samgate, bodhisattva. What does it mean by Arya beings? Arya beings is not just a poetic presentation. Arya being means those who reach the path of seeing, the third one. Gade, paragade, third level. Paragade, when you reach the path of seeing, then you are referred to as the Arya beings. Arya meaning the superior beings. In what way you are superior? Superior in ways of seeing the reality directly. Ordinary people like us, in the first place, we don't see the reality, we see the illusion. And then the illusion as real. And whereas the Arya beings not only see the reality, the illusion as illusion, they see that directly. Because of this, they are known as the having crossed the path of seeing the reality directly. Part of seeing, and then part of meditation, part of normal learning. So these are known as the Arya beings, or the noble ones. And the body of Dharma. So the body of Dharma in Tibetan is the Chogu. Chogu meaning somebody who has manifested the true form of yourself, manifests the ultimate form of yourself, which is the Dharmakaya. Body of Dharma meaning Dharmakaya. And thus perceives the dharmas of those still in training and those beyond training. And because of which this Buddha cognizes all phenomena of the people who are in training. Training meaning gate, para samgate. First four are in the training phase, and then the beyond training, that is bodhiswaha. So for us, we cannot distinguish these beings. Or somebody who is very compassionate will say, oh, he's a Buddha, he's a Bodhisattva, right? And what kind of Bodhisattva, which level, right? We never know, we have no clue. So all these fine distinctions is what the Buddha cognizes, what Buddha perceives. Okay, how does one see dependent arising? Okay, now, how does one see dependent arising? On this point, the Bhagavan said, one who sees dependent arising, okay, now these are going to be a little technical. Okay, this is going to be a little technical. For that matter, I like to give you a background. Once you get this background, then all we're going to read below will be easy for us. Otherwise, it'll become too technical. And okay, ready? Okay. The idea is, I don't know whether we did yesterday, the dream, coming out of the dream. Okay, so we yesterday we did this part that say you go to sleep and then you start dreaming. As you start dreaming, okay, first let's go to the gallery. I want to see all of you. Okay, let's say that how many of you in your life you had the awareness, that okay, now I'm falling asleep, now okay, now I'm getting the indication that I'm going to sleep, I'm falling asleep, okay, now I'm getting the indication that I start to dream, I can foresee that I'm going to dream. Okay, how many that experience? Raise hands very quick. Raise hands. Nobody. That's interesting. Okay, Olivia and Bhavani, where? Okay, Bhavani, Shandila, okay, Olivia, and then Maria Francois. Okay, anybody who likes to share with us what indications are there when you are, okay, you find it so difficult not falling asleep, and now you get some indication, okay, lucky, now I'm going to, yeah, now I'm falling asleep. Okay, what indication do they have? Raise hands very quickly, we don't have much time. I thought we had 7 sessions, and yesterday I realized that we just have 5 sessions and 2 are gone. Okay, we have to little rush. Okay, the Subhashini ji, Professor Subhashini ji, unmute. Unmute yourself. Unmute. Professor Subhashini ji, unmute. Unmute yourself, Subhashini ji. No. Huh? Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? We cannot hear Subhashini ji. Anybody else? Okay, no one. Nobody wants to share. Okay, Mary, quick. Unmute.
Tu m'entends? D'accord.
Yes, Mary.
Vite.
Ouais, quand on commence à s'endormir, on a ça apparaît comme des hologrammes. Donc, c'est vide. Et puis, ces hologrammes, pour aller vers le rêve, ces hologrammes, ils commencent à se remplir. Ça veut dire que, par exemple, l'hologramme en haut qui a la forme d'un homme, d'un humain, il commence à prendre les habits, la tête et tout ça. Et puis, on rentre directement dedans. Et puis, on commence à voir la scène. Mais, tu veux traduire?
Oui.
Ça commence comme des hologrammes.
Okay, Jimbala, translate.
So Marie says that when we begin to sleep, and we see some kind of holograms, something like this in our mind, then slowly we begin to feel everything in our mind, then it becomes more precise, etc.
Okay, very good. So these are the indicators. Anybody else? Anybody else? No? Okay, Laura, okay.
Laura?
Asleep, I have noticed that the physical sensations seem to fall away, and it's the sensations that start are more mental.
Okay, physical sensations fall away. What do you mean by physical sensations? Tactile sensation or the visual or hearing and so forth?
Tactile sensations, definitely. I think all the physical includes all the tactile, the hearing, the seeing, all the physical sensations.
Okay, good. Okay, so the point is that, yes, thank you. Okay, Patrick.
Oui, c'est l'impression que je quitte le corps grossier pour devenir de plus en plus léger et commencer comme presque si je flottais.
So
Patrick says that it seems that I'm leaving my gross body and like I'm floating somewhere as if my body is more subtle.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, good. So be observant. Be observant, all of us. Okay, Mary Francois. Mary Francois, you like to say something? Unmute.
me?
Il m'arrive en rêvant de me rendre compte que je rêve et donc d'être plus attentive à ce qui se passe pendant le rêve.
So it happens to Marie-Françoise that sometimes when she dreams, she's aware that she's dreaming and she's more mindful within her.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. So the we just if you can observant, if you can be more observant of yourself when you're falling asleep, number one. Then you start to have the dream. Two, just be more observant. You're getting it? Okay. So with this in mind, what I'm saying is that when you go to bed, you start falling asleep, then you start to have a dream. Let's say that in the dream you have all the good things, bad things, have one after the other, and sometimes some of the bad dreams, they just continue one after the other for like whole 1 hour. That's extremely tiring sometimes. And then you wake up, you go to loo, come back, you fall asleep, again the dream continues. Yeah, this is what happens. And I'm sure many of you had that same experience. So let's say that the dream consists of like good dreams, bad dreams, good dreams, bad dreams, just in the one stretch of a dream. One stretch of a dream, it constituted of the several the episodes. Good, bad, very scary and very pleasant, neutral, again very scary, pleasant. So these dreams. And when you have the pleasant dreams, and not only pleasant, you're also virtuous. You engage in helping others, say seeing a poor dog, a poor person, you feed the person, you talk to the person, and sometimes you fight with the people. Okay, all these things, virtues, non-virtues, neutral, virtues, non-virtues, neutral. So let's say that all this happening within just one span of a dream. And if I ask you that, okay, when you're being, let's say that when you are being when you're fighting with somebody else in the dream, of course this is not good. When you're being kind to somebody else, of course this is good. But still it has, still there's something is wrong with this. Even the dream, you're being kind to somebody who is really hungry, thirsty, and going through illness, so forth. You're being kind. That is virtuous. But still there's a little problem, right? There's a little problem. Okay, there's some mistake there. There's some problem there. It's not perfect. So what is that thing which is not perfect in the virtuous dream? A dream where you engage in virtue. Just quickly raise hands. Anybody, what's the problem with that dream? Okay, Ruchita.
Geshe-la, it's still a dream. It's not real.
Okay, what's the problem? It is a dream. If it is a dream, what's the problem? Pavani? What's the problem if it is a dream? What Ruchita said is that still it is a dream. Yes, we acknowledge that. But what's the problem? What's the problem if it is a dream? What's the problem?
It's not reality. It's not something.
This is what I'm saying. If it is not real, I know that it's not real, but what's the problem? This is my question. In what way it bothers you? In what way it is not good for you? Anybody? This is the question. You're getting it? So how many of you want something which is not good for you? Raise hands. How many of you want something which is not good to you? Okay, wow. I can't see you well. Up to you, sir. I cannot see you well. Okay, how many you don't want? How many don't want something which is not good to you? Raise hands. Of course, all of us. We don't want anything good to you. You're getting it? We don't want anything good to you. Okay. So what I'm asking is, even this virtuous dream where you're being so kind to help somebody who's hungry, thirsty, and so forth, you give something to eat, drink, you talk nicely, and you also feel very happy inside. So with that dream, even that dream has something which is not good. What is that element which is not good? Raise hands. Or Patrick? Patrick, yes.
Manque la motivation.
The motivation is missing.
A motivation. What's the motivation? What should be the motivation? Okay, anybody else? What's the problem with that? Okay, Patrick, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, Isabel.
Il manque le résultat.
The result is missing.
The result is missing. Of course, the result is there. You feel happy, right? And then Patrick, you have the motivation. Patrick, you have the motivation because, oh, there's a person hungry, suffering. I need to help. The motivation is there. And the result is there. When you help, you feel very happy. The result is there. Motivation, both are there. Anybody, very quick. Anybody, there's something wrong there. Rosemary? Rosemary, unmute. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Une hallucination, le rêve.
The dream is an hallucination.
What's the problem? It's a nice hallucination. What's the problem? What's wrong with it? I'm asking what's wrong with it. You're getting it? Something which you don't like. Guillem? Yes. Unmute, Guillem. Unmute. Yes, Guillem, you. Guillem or Guillem. Some people pronounce it Guillem. Unmute.
Oui.
Yes.
En fait, il manque l'intention.
The intention is missing.
Okay, intention to help the person is there. Right? Okay. Anybody? Okay, Justin Wolski, yes.
Peut-être la volonté, on peut pas agir comme on le souhaite. Enfin, il y a souvent des situations dans lesquelles on est impuissant. On aimerait bien faire quelque chose, on n'y arrive pas.
The free will is missing because in some occasions we would like to do something that we cannot do.
Oh, okay. So there are many dreams where you like to do something, but it doesn't happen. But here in this particular dream, where you see the person suffering, hungry, and you have the intention, motivation to help, and you use the free will to go and give the food. You use the free will, you have the free will. Okay, I want somebody to tell me. Bruno Pinel? Unmute. We cannot hear you. Unmute. The Jimbala, you can ask her to unmute.
Voilà, ça y est, il est fait. Ben, je pense qu'il manque la conscience de ne pas pouvoir aider, mais qu'il y a l'ignorance que c'est un rêve, que ce n'est pas une réalité, c'est un rêve. Et le rêve, il y a l'ignorance de la non-interdépendance, de la non-connaissance de l'interdépendance.
So there is a kind of ignorance in the dream. Within the dream, we ignore interdependence.
No. So, you see, if I give food, by dependence on giving food, this person's removal of hunger will originate, dependent origination. And once I remove the hunger of the person, by dependence on that, my happiness will originate. So you're following. You don't deny the dependent origination. That's amazing. Okay, anybody? No one? Okay, Kesang Dolkarla. Unmute. Kesang Dolkarla.
I think religion is good to someone in a dream, but the person is not there. It's just imagination that the person is missing.
Okay, I cannot hear you too well. It's a little, what is that? The sound is a little hazy. Can you repeat it? The person is not there. Is that what you're saying?
So your intention is there and your action is there, but the reality is that the person is not there, whoever you're trying to.
Okay, so what's the problem? If the person is not there, what's the problem? In what way it is not good for you? So the point is that it is not good for me. You know, something is there which is not good for me. What is that thing? Tinsipigila? Yes? Unmute?
I think in dream we feel like it's the reality.
Yes.
It's not a reality in the.
Okay, seeing the dream as real, and it does not tell you with the fact. It doesn't tell you the fact, but what's your problem, right? Sometimes we deliberately go to the movies to watch movies, knowing that it's not fact, still you enjoy it, right? Okay, so this is a very serious question. If you understand this, okay, we have this young girl, Pooja's the younger sister.
The
Yes.
dream will end.
Dream will end. That's good. So if the dream ends, the dream ends, and the pleasant dream ends is a little sad. That's true. I agree with you. What's your name?
Prithvi.
Huh? Prithvi. Is it Prithvi? Huh? Prithvi. Ritvi. Okay. Thank you, Ritvi. Thank you. Okay. Kim Lui.
I will give it a shot. Is it because, it's nice, so you feel happy, but it won't last. The dream is going to, you're going to come out of it.
Wow. Okay. So these two, the Ritvi and Kim Lui, you came with the same answer at the same time. That's amazing. So Ritvi said the dream will come to the end, and Kim Lui is saying that dream is impermanent. It will end, and then okay. Let's say the juice. This juice, if I drink it too much, it harms me. It's not good. But I drink it now, it's good, and it'll end, and it's not a problem for me. It's not a problem. It ends, no problem. But I agree with you, the Kim Lui and the Ritvi, both of you, that when you see something which is so nice coming to an end, then you feel the feeling of what I call the nostalgia and then reminiscence. All these feelings come to you. That's true. I agree with you. That's true. I agree with you. Okay. Now, anybody else? Okay, the Maria Francois. Mary Francois. Unmute.
Voilà. Le rêve ressemble à un film, à des images d'un film qui se déroule. Nous sommes spectateurs, mais pas créateurs.
So the dream is like a movie and we are just witness, but we are not the creator of that.
Okay, that's close. Mary Francois, that's close. Thank you. That's close, like very close. Okay. Now, Mary. Yes, Mary.
Le problème est que on veut faire quelque chose de vertueux, comme on a dit, mais on n'arrive pas à accomplir complètement et correctement son action. Il y a toujours quelque chose qui cloche là, on ne sait pas pourquoi. Qui vient clocher, oui.
So there is something which impedes our path of action to be complete. We don't control. Mais quel est le problème?
No, what's the problem? Jimbala, what's the problem?
Le problème est qu'on on ne maîtrise pas.
We have no control. That's the problem.
Okay, very good. So the two Marys, your answer is similar. Oh, okay. A third Mary, Rosemary.
En fait, on ne peut pas agir sur la matière. Si on donne à boire à un chien en rêve, le chien il boit pas vraiment.
So in the dream, we cannot really act on matter. If we give water to a dog, the dog doesn't really drink.
Okay, it doesn't matter about you're happy. You're happy. You're getting it. You're happy. Okay, maybe the last, Charles. Charles.
Le problème, c'est qu'on manque de contrôle. On n'est pas sous contrôle.
So as Mary said, we have no control. We are not aware. We miss the control.
Okay, so now let me go back to the main point. Thank you, the two Mary and Charles. Okay, let's say that what three of them said. Let me paraphrase it here. For that matter, okay, how many of you like to have the dream where on Habab today, the Buddha's on the auspicious day where the Buddha descended, then His Holiness invites you for a cup of tea. You have the audience with His Holiness. Then His Holiness invites you for a cup of tea. Okay, how many of you like to have this dream? Raise your hands. All of us. Very good. My next question to you. How many of you will have this dream tonight? How many of you will have this dream tonight? Raise hands. Okay, no one. No one. Why not? Why not? This is a very pleasant dream. It's an amazing dream. Why not? Why not you're going to have it tonight? Why not you have going to have it tonight? Just one person. Raise hands. I'll give chance to one. Okay, Kim Loy. Kim Loy. Okay.
C'est probable qu'on puisse rêver. Pardon.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
Okay, who's that? Kim Loy. You want to give Kim Loy? And Kim Loy is part.
Yeah, Geshe, it's me. The thing is, you can't make it happen, even though you want it.
Okay, you can't make it happen. Okay, let us not forget what's your name? Rilin. Okay, what Rilin said, let's not forget it. Okay, that you want it, but you can't make it happen. And Roger, you want to say something? Roger? Roger, yes.
Juste dire que la plupart du temps, on passe peut-être la plupart de notre temps à dormir tout en rêvant, mais le lendemain matin, on se rappelle de rêve. Et la conscience a malgré tout vécu des expériences.
It can happen that even if our consciousness had the experience to dream, when we wake up, most of the time we forget.
Okay, that's also true. Sometimes we forget the dreams. When you have the dream, then the next time we can forget it. It's not only even the real thing. Also, what I ate yesterday, I forgot it. Right, my memory is terribly the broken down. So my memory is terrible. I just forget. If you ask me what did you eat yesterday afternoon, I have no memory. Dream, non-dream is the same. Okay, so with this, what I'm saying is that, let me say this again. So we all like to have this very pleasant dream where you go to audience with His Holiness, then His Holiness invites you for a cup of tea. That's beautiful. But we cannot. But the problem is that we cannot say, but okay, I'll have this pleasant dream tonight. Nobody says this because we want this to happen, but we cannot make it happen. We don't have the control. We cannot control the dream. You're getting it? So which means the dream happens for some other reasons, not because of your control. You do not have the control, which means that you don't have the freedom to choose the dream. You don't have the freedom to choose the dream. In other words, there's a total lack of freedom. Lack of freedom is misery. You're getting it? Lack of freedom is misery. Okay, keep this in mind. Now with this, the good thing about the dream is that, let's say that you are very healthy. You're not COVID positive. You're not COVID positive. And in the dream, you dreamt that you were tested positive, COVID positive. And you just go into so much of the tension, fear, so forth, right? And then in the dream, the doctor comes, gives you paracetamol, all the treatments, ventilator and everything. In about like 7 days, you are okay. Your COVID disappeared. You wake up, right? You did not have the COVID at all in the first place. So in the dream, you dreamt that you contracted COVID-19. In the dream, you see the doctor coming, helping you. In the dream, you recovered from COVID-19. You're getting it? In reality, you wake up, you realize that no COVID-19 entered me, no COVID-19 was removed. You're getting it? You got it? This is so important concept. Okay, with this mind, let's turn to the text. The dream concept. This is so important. With this, then you'll understand all we're going to read from the Noble Mind Sutra now. Okay. What we were reading was, how does one see dependent arising? This is where we are reading. So it says that, okay, on this point, the Buddha said, one who sees dependent arising as constant. As constant meaning that the reality that we are like in the dream. The way somebody said that in the dream, say you did something, but when you wake up, okay, somebody said it, that you were giving food to the person, and then the person hunger removed, and you feel so happy. You wake up, you realize that that person was not really there. You're getting it? So what was all happening in the dream, they were not really there. That is very constant, very stable. This reality which is so stable. Constant here means the reality that what is happening in a dream is not real. Not being a real is very constant. You're getting it? Not being a real is the very constant. This was the truth, paramount truth. Okay, without life force. So the same dream person, this person who you are thinking that you are helping, this person does not really have the life force. It's not a real person. Without life force meaning somebody who does not have life. Then the devoid of life. The first one is without life force. Second one is devoid of life force. Devoid of life force, it means that although this person doesn't have the life, person is not a real person, but another person in the dream affects this person. Is devoid of somebody affecting this person. Devoid of life force. And true meaning that the fact that this person is not real is true. You're getting it? Okay, these are a little technical. I can't really spend too much on each of these. We have only 3 more sessions, right? And there are many more texts remaining. So I'll just explain it, and you do it fast, or later on you can revisit this the recording. True and unmistaken. Unmistaken means that how you know that this person doesn't have the life force. It's not a real person, which is the true real, which is a fact, can be proven through unmistaken reasons. Unmistaken here means unmistaken reasons. With unmistaken reason, you can prove that. Okay. Then unborn meaning that this person in the dream person is not really born as a real person. unborn. Okay, not arisen, meaning that, okay, now it is not born, but in the past, it arose or it originated as a person. No, it was not arisen, not arisen in the past. Not arisen in the past. Okay, uncreated. Although there's no person there as born, the dream person there as being born as a real person, but then there should be somebody else who is creating this as a person. No. In other words, there is no external agent to make this dream person as a real person. There's no. Uncompounded. Then, okay, now it did not happen in the past. Then there's no life force from within, from itself, no an external agent creating it. But then it may be like, the causes and the conditions. For example, the two parents come together, and then for the conception to happen in the mother's womb, the two parents come together, and the mind from the previous life come there. Three factors come together, then the beings are created. So like this dream person, the dream person can be also because of these factors come into being, and that dream person becomes a real person. That's also not true. Uncompounded, meaning the dream person becoming true person through the power of being compounded by the causes and conditions. That's also not. Unobstructed. Unobstructed meaning that this reality, that it is unborn, that is not real, it pervades across time and space. It's not just, only in some space within the dream is unreal, but the rest of part of the dream, that the dream person comes as a real. This is not true. In every way in the dream, space and in time, that this person, the dream person, is not a real person, is a truth. Unobstructed means it pervades all in time and space. Imperceptible. So because that this person, the dream person, is not real, you say with the pure perception, so ordinary people like us, we see the dream person as real, but with the pure perception, you will see that the dream person to be a real person cannot be perceived. Imperceptible. Tranquil. So say the dream person, very complicated person in the dream. Okay, how many of you in your life you have and they encountered with a very complicated people, extremely complicated, right? Okay, Chimbala, okay, Bhavani, and then who else? Okay, the Olivia. Okay, some people, they're scared. If I say yes, then the complicated person will create more problem on me, right? Okay, there are some very complicated people, extremely complicated. Maybe we are the ones who are complicated. We never know. You're getting it? I think that somebody else is complicated. That person maybe thinks that I'm complicated one, right? Okay, sometimes I get letters from some of my friends, who say it's so difficult to work with you, right? So I can't really blame others. They are seeing me as complicated. So we never know. Okay, what I'm saying is that some people, they're very complicated. Say, if you give juice, the person said, who told you that I'm doing juice? Right? Who told you that I want juice? If you don't give juice, or if you don't do anything, that you are so selfish, you're doing it yourself, you're not giving anything to me. If you go give something, then who told you that? It's very complicated, extremely complicated people in there. Okay, so even these complicated people, so that these complicated people, not only complicated people, in the dream you can meet with people who are very complicated. They're just dream. You're getting it? Just dream, not real. So it says that, say, imperceptible, tranquil. So when you say that, oh, this complicated person in the dream, it's just my dream, you feel the tranquility. You're getting it? You can feel the peace. Okay. Fearless. The fearless. When you see that, okay, this is important. So all these things, what we are talking about, the person, seeing the dream person is real. So it's not just a dream. It's not just a dream. The people that you encounter with, yourself as a person, people around you, they're all like dream, right? They're all like dream. They're all coming from your subject, not from the object. The dream is coming from your mind, not from the object. Just likewise, everything in this universe, they all come from the subject, not from the object. But on the contrary, when you look at this flower, when you see anything else, we see them as coming from the object. That is deception. That is what we see the dream as real. You're getting it? That is what see the dream as real. So with this in mind, say now the fearless. The fearless is that at first when we get a glimpse of emptiness, you get a feeling of fear. At first, and then when your experience deepens, then the fear dissolves, and the fearlessness will replace this fear. One. Number two, all our fears are grounded to the self-grasping ignorance. So with the wisdom to see the dream as dream, so dream is not real, that everything is like a dream, that is wisdom. So the wisdom counteracts the ignorance, and because of which the ignorance which supports the fear dissolves. So that experience of the dream-like nature of phenomena helps us to create fearlessness, the fearless. Then the next D as the incontrovertible. Incontrovertible meaning that, for example, I ask you, what is this? You say this is a flower. This is a flower. And I say that no, this is a human being. Right? Okay. I ask you, what is in mind? Guess what is in my hand? You may say a chocolate. I say no. Then you may ask me, what is this? I may say this is it's a flower, a dry flower in my hand. And then Charles says that, are you sure? I said, no, it's not a dry flower, it's a leaf. And then Miss, okay, I thought it was flower. But when you see directly with your eyes, what is this? You say that this flower. I said that no, this is a chocolate. You say 100% not. You're getting it? So this is incontrovertible. When you see directly, nothing can change your conviction. So seeing everything like a dream directly, nobody can change it. So this is known as incontrovertible. Okay, not exhaustible. Not exhaustible meaning that, okay, it has several connotations. So one, which is the most common one, is that negative emotions, mental defilements are to be exhausted, and then at the moment we have this, we are so rich with the mental defilements, and we put effort in marriage, emptiness, bodhichitta, and so forth, then the mental defilements, started to exhaust. And eventually when you become Buddha, all the mental defilements exhaust completely. But in the dream, what we said earlier, that first you had COVID-19, you were tested positive, COVID-19, the virus. Then, say after treatment, then the COVID-19 exhausts. You wake up. That exhaustion of the COVID-19 was just dream. It was not really exhausted, right? To exhaust means something was there before. Because in the dream, the COVID positive in the dream was not real. So in the first place, in the dream, there was not a real COVID positive there. What you see is that as getting exhausted. This is just a dream. It's not true. So this is known as they're not exhaustible. And by nature, never stilled. Very similar. By nature, never stilled. We say that, okay, what is your mental state now? What is your mental state now? It is like a very placid, very calm on the ocean, very serene ocean, or like the turbulent ocean with the turbulent waves on it. Our mind is very much like a turbulent wave on the ocean. How many agree with me? Raise your hands. How many agree with me? Okay, most of us agree with me. Most of us agree with me that our mind is like the ocean with the turbulent wave on the surface. And if you want to know really how your mind is really in a mess, so much disturbance, if you get a glimpse of emptiness, you'll feel the contrast between our normal mind, which is so in disturbance, versus you see the emptiness, the mind stills, this disturbance stills. You can see the contrast. Then you will realize, oh, since until the reality of emptiness, I see that my mind was constantly in this disturbance. I did not know that. Now I could see the acute stillness. You're getting it? Okay, let's say the contrast. Acute disturbance with the acute stillness. So in the dream, you see the person with acute disturbance, and suddenly, with the meditative emptiness, the stillness. So that again, you wake up, you see that this stillness is, never, by nature, never still. It is not that earlier it was not stilled, now it becomes stilled. No, this is not true. This is not true. You're getting it? Never, by nature, never stilled, meaning stilled from non-still state to the still state. That's not the case, because it has been stilled right from the beginning. It's not that it transpired as stilled from the state of the non-still. Okay, so so the point is that we're all like in the dream, right? My question to you: when are you affected by the dream? In the dream or outside the dream? Raise your hands, very quick. Raise a hand. When are you affected by the dream? In the dream or outside the dream? Jimbala is expert, I know. Maria is expert. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, Subhashini ji. When are you affected? Unmute. Unmute, Subhashini ji. Subhashini ji, you have to unmute. Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sometimes when I get up and I remember the dream, then I am upset.
Okay. For you, you are affected by the dream. You are affected by the dream inside and outside the dream, both.
No, especially when it's a vivid dream and I get up just before if I have it just before I get up, then naturally I'm affected by it.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. In the dream, if a tiger comes to attack Subhashini ji, are you happy or are you affected or not affected? In the dream. While you are in the dream, a tiger comes to attack you, are you affected or you are not affected? No, this is what I'm saying.
What I'm feeling in the dream. But when I'm out of the dream, I know what I'm feeling.
Okay, did you ever have a nightmare in your life?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, like, can you give an example?
At the moment, I can't think of, but I had a horrid boss.
Okay, let's say in the dream, your boss says that, Subhashini, why are you late? You're getting it? You are fired. Listen. If this is what you dreamt, so when you, in the dream, are you affected or not affected?
I'm not aware of that, Geshe. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So you're not aware that you had night dream. You had nightmare.
No, that I'm aware of.
Okay, because you're not aware of. Okay, good. Thank you, Subhashini. Thank you. Anybody else? When are you affected by the dream? In the dream or outside the dream? Okay, the Ritvi.
Inside the dream?
In the dream, yes, that's true. When you are in the dream, the tiger comes to, attack you, you're affected. Then the moment you wake up, you sigh with relief. It's not real, I'm so lucky. You're getting it? You're not affected by the dream. When you're outside the dream, when you're in the dream, you're affected. You feel that it's real. You're getting it? Okay. So now the point is that outside the dream, that dream, when you are outside the dream, that dream tiger can never attack you. You're getting it? You were never attacked. You are never attacked. You will never be attacked by the dream tiger when you are outside the dream. You're getting it? So therefore, your mind outside the dream, your mind was never disturbed by the mental defilements. Your mind was forever still, not being affected by the dream mental defilements in the past. Is not affecting you by the dream mental defilements now, will not affect you by the dream defilements in the future. You're getting it? So your mind is totally in the form of still with respect to the dream defilements. In other words, all the defilements we have now, they are like the dream defilements. And who will not be affected? Are you affected or not affected? Anybody, are you affected by your mental defilements or not? Isabel, you affected? Yes. Kim Louie, you affected? Okay, how many of you are not affected by your mental defilements right now? Raise your hands. How many of you are not affected? How many of you are affected by the mental defilements right now? Okay, we are affected. That's true. If you are not affected and still coming to the teaching, you're coming here to test me. You're getting it? If you're not affected, which means that you're Buddha already. A Buddha coming into the teaching is just to test me. Not because of to listen to the teaching. You're getting it? Okay, we are affected. We are affected, which means we're in the dream. We are still in the dream. We are in the dream. And dream, there are two kinds. Dream, there are two kinds. One is the conventional dream, and the other one is unconventional dream. We can wake up from the conventional dream every day, but we never wake up from the unconventional dream. We are always in the unconventional dream. So this mental defilement which affects us, the mental defilements which affect us, they are the dream mental defilements of which dream? Unconventional dream. So just as we wake up from the conventional dream, it is for us to wake up from the unconventional dream so that these mental defilements will not affect us anymore. You're getting it? Because the mental defilement, our mind, from the point of view of waking up from the unconventional dream, our mind is still, is in the state of still right from the beginning. You don't have to still it. You don't have to still it. The only thing is that we have to wake up. And how to wake up? Wake up by seeing the reality as it is, that it is like a dream. Okay, so what we are reading is the by nature never stills, the third line. By nature never stills. Okay, this is the meaning that if you come to realize that what is going now is the unconventional dream, then you will not be affected by these mental defilements. If this is not affected by mental defilements, then you realize that these mental defilements, they don't have the power to disturb me. So therefore, I don't disturb me in its true sense. So I don't have to put effort to still it because it is already stilled right from the beginning. So by nature, never stilled, never put effort to be stilled from the state of non-stilled. And who likewise sees the dharma to also be constant. Okay, so now this is about the one who sees dependent arising. This is dependent arising. Dependent arising should be seen in these attributes. Now the dharma, next is dependent arising, dharma, and the Buddha. So now the Buddha said that the dharma, likewise, likewise. Okay, likewise, sees the dharma to also be constant without life force. Okay, same. Without life force, devoid of life force, true, unmistaken, unborn, not arisen, uncreated, uncompounded, unobstructed, imperceptible, tranquil, fearless, incontrovertible, inexhaustible, and never stilled, clearly understands the dharma of the Noble One. So if you realize the dharma in the form of these characteristics, then this is the true understanding of the dharma of the Noble Ones of the Arya beings. And by thus acquiring such right knowledge, sees that if you see things like this, You are waking up. You're waking up. You're waking. You have to wake up from which dream? Anybody? Which dream? Raise hands. To see that, to see all these characteristics that which we have studied now, you have to wake up. Wake up from which dream? Wake up from the dream. Which dream? Anybody? Very quick. Very quick. Raise hand. Raise hands. Huh? Unmute. Yes. Thank you. From the unconventional dream, right? Okay. When have you been having this unconventional dream? Since when? Anybody? Since when? Since when did you have this unconventional dream? Raise hands. Since when? Okay, Virginie Connet.
Since we were born.
Okay, since we were born. Since we were born. What about last life? Last life you awakened, again you went to sleep.
Yes. No.
Okay, no.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. From okay, from the beginning. From the beginning. From the beginning. From the beginningless time. The time we call as the beginningless time, right? From the beginning. Okay, thank you. So now, say the conventional dream, we wake up every day. But the unconventional dream, we never wake up from this unconventional dream. We need to wake up. How many you don't want suffering? Raise hands. How many don't want suffering? You are fed up with suffering. Raise hands. Okay, very good. If you really don't want suffering, okay, but who's that? Who is that who doesn't want suffering? Boys or the girls? Boys or girls? Both. Both. What about the religious and non-religious people? Both. What about the French and non-French? Both. Raise hands. French and non-French. Both. Okay. Very good. Educated, uneducated, both. Raise hands. Okay. Buddhist, non-Buddhist, both. Raise hands. That's true. If you don't want, whosoever does not want suffering, doesn't want suffering, you have to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. From the sleep of ignorance, from the dream of ignorance, from the unconventional dream. You're getting it? How to wake up from this unconventional dream to know that everything is coming from the subject, nothing is from the object, right? It is for this reason that the Buddha is revered as the fully awakened one. You're getting it? Buddha is referred to as the fully awakened one, where he's freed from being affected by anything of the conventionalities. He's freed from all these. Okay. So it's for this reason that we have to wake up from the sleep of ignorance, and all the other dharma activities like making prostrations, doing pujas, reciting mantras, all these things are ways and means to help us to activate this wisdom, to see the reality as it is, to see the reality that everything is coming from a mind. For that matter, it's so important that the paths that take us to Buddhahood, the paths are classified into two: the ripening paths and the liberating paths. It is only the wisdom of emptiness that is the liberating path, and all others are the ripening paths. Ripening paths meaning which help us ripen this wisdom of emptiness. So what actually liberates us from samsara is the wisdom of emptiness. So this is where this sutra is so precious for us. Okay, let's continue reading this. Okay, why is it called dependent arising? It is called dependent arising because it is causal. Okay, now we are going to end the not too technical, but there's something that we have to pay attention to. Why is it called dependent arising, right? Why is that this phenomenon where objectively nothing is there like dream, subjectively everything is there? Why is that known as dependent arising? It is called dependent arising because it is causal and conditional. So causal dependent arising and conditional dependent arising. 2. What is causal, what is conditional? This is going to be explained in more detail now. In this connection, the Bhagavan, the Buddha, concisely, what is in this connection, the Bhagavan concisely taught the characteristics of dependent arising as follows. Results come from their own specific conditions. Results come from their own specific conditions, meaning that the 12 links which we studied last time, we talked about the 3 kinds of dependent origination. The first one, which is the causal dependent origination. Dependent origination where the results come into being by depends on the causes. So the first causal dependent origination is the one which governs the whole universe. Whole universe is governed by the causal dependent origination. So what is that causal dependent origination? The Bhagavan concisely taught the characteristics follow. Results come from their own specific conditions, causal conditions. Okay, what is that reality? That results come into being by depends on causal conditions. Is it dictated by the Buddha? Is it created by the Buddha? No, this is reality. Buddha only discovered this. Buddha did not invent this. Buddha discovered the 3 layers of dependent origination. He did not invent the 3 layers of dependent origination. So the Buddha Shakyamuni appeared 2,600 years ago. But this dependent origination was operating since way before Buddha Shakyamuni was born. Way before the Buddha even became Buddha. So this whole universe was operating on the basis of the cause and effect relationship. This is something which exists even before the Buddha Shakyamuni, before the Buddhas. Results come from their own specific conditions, whether Tathagatas meaning the Buddhas, whether the Buddhas appear or not, whether the Buddhas exist or not, this true nature of things, cause and effect, will remain. It is the true nature, the constancy of dharma, the immutability of dharma. Constancy meaning that this is always the case, cause and effect operating. The immutability of the dharma, this will never change. Consistent with dependent arising, suchness, unmistaken suchness, not partial suchness, actuality, the truth, unmistaken and unerring. This reality on cause and effect, this the dependent origin is cause and effect. This is this consistent with dependent arising, suchness. This is the reality. And unmistaken suchness, this is something which nobody can prove it to be mistaken. And not partial suchness. This is not like, okay, this holds true in the France. It doesn't hold true outside France, right? For example, say the lane. Which lane is correct? Right lane or the left lane is correct. In France, you follow one rule. In other countries, they follow another rule. Whereas cause and effect, okay, cause and effect operates in the same way wherever you go. It's not partial in nature. Actuality, and this is the truth. This is what we can verify. Actuality and the truth, unmistaken and unerring. Moreover, dependent arising emerges from 2 principles. Okay, now this little, it's not difficult, it's a little technical, we should pay attention. Moreover, dependent arising emerges from 2 principles. Okay, what we learned is dependent origination of the causal and conditional. What is causal, what is conditional? Still not yet explained fully. We will have to study more here. And then now is talking what is the causal, the moreover dependent arising emerges from 2 principles. From what 2 principles? From a causal relation and a conditional relation. Furthermore, it should be understood as twofold, outer and inner. Okay, you may feel a little lost here, don't worry. I'll try to make it simple here. So outer and inner first. Outer dependent origination and the inner dependent origination. Within outer, there's causal and conditional. Within inner, causal and conditional. You got it? Okay, okay. Let me say this again. The dependent origination, we see 4 terms here. 4 terms. One is causal relation and conditional relation. Causal and conditional. Then another two is, a set of two is inner and outer. You're getting it? So let me explain. First, inner and outer. What is meant by inner? Inner meaning the beings. Inner meaning the beings, and outer meaning the place in which the beings live, like the planet Earth, and then the plants, the flowers, all the other things, all the other dependent origin, all the other the composite phenomena other than the person. So the person is the inner, and the rest of the say the impermanent phenomena or the composite phenomena, they are known as the outer. So within the inner, again there are two, causal and conditional. What is causal? Let's say that, okay, so for example, on the causal and conditional. So me as a being, me as a human being, and the cat as an animal, and then the hungry ghost, helping, so forth. So for example, say the water, I have a solid body, the cat and the other animals also have the solid body, right? The solidity is created by the planet, by the earth, and then the cohesion of the particles together by the element of water, and when you eat food, the food gets digested because of the fire. So these are common to the human beings, animals, insects, and so forth. This is common to all, but there's something which is unique to the human beings, unique to the animals. For say the 12 links, what makes me as a human being? What makes you as a human being? What makes somebody else as an animal? What makes somebody else as God and goddess? So that is determined by the different, the causes. The causes and conditions are common between the human beings and non-human beings. You're getting it? Okay. Let's say that earth, water, fire, air, space. So these are the conditions common to all. These are known as what is common to all is known as conditions. What is unique to the human beings, the animals, so forth, these are known as, referred to as the causes here. Otherwise, technically speaking, cause and condition mean the same. Technically speaking, these two mean the same, but here the distinction is made. So in this context, the condition means something which is common to me, you, animals, cats, so forth. Cause means something unique of the humans, unique of the animals, and so forth. What is unique of me? Unique of you. So that unique of me is my 12 links of dependent origination. You're getting it? Your uniqueness is your 12 links of dependent. That is your causal. And whereas I need earth, water, fire, air to sustain myself. These are common to you, me, everybody. These are the conditions. This for the internal. Internal causes means 12 links of dependent origination, and internal conditions means water, earth, the earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. So this is one thing. And then the outer meaning the outer things like the planet Earth, the plants, and so forth. So the plants also have causes and conditions. The plants also have, for example, say the mango tree. Mango tree, say the causes, it's the unique seed. The unique seed of this unique seed. The unique seed is the cause. And then they say with this unique seed, then the other things, other elements are required. And then whereas for the same plant, again, earth, water, fire, air, what we spoke about the conditions, they are also there required as conditions there. So it also has a cause in the form of the unique seed and the other things as conditions. So inner dependent origination, outer dependent origination. Each of them have again two things: causal, inner dependent origination; conditional, inner dependent origination. For the outer, causal, outer dependent origination, and what is that? Conditional, outer dependent origination. Okay, these are going to be we're going to read them very clearly from the following passages. Okay, we'll stop here for today. For this session. Okay, we'll come back the next session. Okay. Om Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, see you again.
Thank you, Geshe-la.